Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Chuck, and today I am going to be announcing my personal choice of NFL honors because recently the finalists have all been released, and out of those five, I'm going to go 5 through 1, 5 being the least likely, and then 1 being my personal pick. You guys can argue about it all you want in the comments. These are my personal choices. So if you guys want to fight me on it, that's fine. I'm going to ignore them. I personally don't care. These are my choices. If you want to watch and enjoy, go ahead. You guys can criticize my choices if you want. I'll tell you my reasoning. But that's what I plan on doing in this video. So, and also at the end of the video, I will be announcing my Super Bowl pick. Hint, it's not really... It's an obvious choice. But, yeah. If you guys do enjoy this video, I don't post many videos anymore. I'm going to try, but I work 40 hours a week at my job, so I'm going to try to upload as much content as I can, especially with the NFL offseason coming. I will release a mock draft. Recent mock drafts coming up soon. I don't know when. I'm not going to have a schedule or anything. I'm going to keep posting like shorts and stuff on this channel, but yeah, let's get straight into this video. Starting off, we're going to start with Assistant Coach of the Year. We're going to do MVP at the end. We're going to go with Assistant Coach and Coach of the Year. Starting with Assistant Coach of the Year, 5 and 4. I don't really know much about them, so I just put them in that order. I personally wouldn't see them winning it because I don't know much about them. Number 5, I got Joe Brady. I know he's the Bills' either offensive or defensive coordinator because I saw news that he's not leaving the Bills, so obviously he was on the Bills. Bills were a great team, though, so he could have been a good reason, but it was mostly Josh Allen. Then at 4, I got Vic Fangio. I think he's the Eagles' defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator. One of those two. I think defensive coordinator. I could be wrong. You guys can let me know. And then 3, Aaron Glenn. He's going to be a good coach next year. It's going to be hard to fix the Jets. Unless you guys decide to keep Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, and maybe that connection will grow into something that we expected this season to happen. Obviously, they didn't have Adams before, but now that they do, they could be better, but I'm never betting on the Jets ever again. I'm never falling for that trap again. Number 2, we got the Vikings defensive coordinator, who is luckily staying on the Vikings. Thank goodness, Brian Flores. I think our defense would have been bad without him. He's a great player, but nothing compared to Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's just a great offensive coordinator. I think he's going to be good in Chicago. I'm also not falling into that Bears trap. They have to prove it to me before I choose to vote for the Bears doing good, because I fell into that trap last year. I really thought they were going to make the playoffs. Far from it. Next up, we got Coach of the Year. This one's going to be a little biased, but I think he actually deserves it. So number 5, we got Chiefs head coach Andy Reid. I just don't think they do it to coaches who win every year. I just don't see him winning Coach of the Year. Chiefs weren't that great this year. Yes, their record says otherwise, but I mean, like, in terms of playing and stuff, they won the games that mattered. That's all that matters. I mean, now they're going to the Super Bowl again for the 3rd time. Personally, okay, here, let me quickly do a little hot take. I don't care who wins the Super Bowl as long as it's not in the NFC North or the Eagles. I don't care who wins other than that. The Chiefs can 5-peat for all I care. I don't care. Whatever. If the Vikings aren't in the Super Bowl, I don't care. Unless the rest of the NFC North or the Eagles are in there. Because right now, I'm voting for the Eagles. Right now, I'm voting for the Chiefs because I don't like the Eagles. Their fans are just too disrespectful. And if the Lions win the Super Bowl next year, we're not going to hear the end of it. Literally, because we'll be the last team in the division to not win a Super Bowl, which would suck. And I don't want that happening. I believe in us next year, though. I think next year will be our year. I could be wrong, of course. I just want to win a playoff game next year. That's all I care about. That's how we show improvement. Number 4, though, I got Dan Campbell. Same thing. Me, personally, I think he's a little overrated. I don't think he's, like, an elite coach. I think he's a good coach, and I think next year they're not going to be terrible. I think they're still for sure, but yeah. They're still for sure a playoff team next year. I just see him taking a step down a little bit, maybe go back to 12-5 or go to like 10-7, something like that. Both of their offensive and defensive coordinators are gone on different jobs now as coaches. I think even their, one of their player coaches are gone too, which is kind of funny. Number 3, I got Sean Payton. He's been great this year. Bo Nix. He drafted Bo Nix, the quarterback he wanted. He wanted Bo Nix from the start out of every quarterback, and look at them now. He looked dumb at the beginning, but look at him now. They went 10-7. They got first rounded, but it was against the Bills, so they weren't expected to beat the Bills. Then we got Dan Quinn at number 2. Look at him. He brought a rookie quarterback and a team that was second overall in draft pick last year to 12-5 and to the NFC Championship game. That is crazy. They got blown out by the Eagles, but the Eagles were the better team, so they won. Simple as that. And then obviously number 1, Kevin O'Connell. We were expected to win 6.5 games, I think. A lot of people said they're going to smash the under. Like we were going to not even get 6 wins. Probably 4 or something like that. I don't know what they were thinking. They were smoking. I didn't think we were going to be terrible, but I didn't think we were going to be as good as we were this year. We went 14-3. We lost 3 games to only 2 different teams. We lost to the Lions twice, and we lost to the Rams twice, including the playoffs. But Sam Darnold ended up bringing us to 14 wins. Imagine what we're going to do with a rookie quarterback who has good connections with the coach, because I guess they've been every week or something, they've been eating, having dinner or whatever together. And I think that connection for him and Justin Jefferson, him and Jordan Addison, him and TJ Hawkinson are going to be great next year. So I don't expect us having 14 wins, but I expect us to at least make the playoffs and have a good win in the playoffs. Next up, we're going to go to Offensive Rookie of the Year. At number 5, I got Malik Neighbors, Brian Thomas Jr. I think they're both in the same boat. They're both they were good. Excuse my French. They were great. Both of them having 1,000 yards. Brian Thomas Jr. having 1,200. Both of them are from LSU, and they had no good quarterback at all. Malik Neighbors had Daniel Jones, Tommy DeVito, and Drew Lock. While Brian Thomas Jr. had a banged up Trevor Lawrence, who's going to have a good year next year, especially with Brian Thomas Jr. there, and Mac Jones, he was okay. But I think Brian Thomas Jr. has a bright future, same with Malik Neighbors. There's a reason I bought a Malik Neighbors jersey, because I believe in him. At 3, I got Brock Bowers. He could be Offensive Rookie of the Year, but I think it's already obvious who's winning it. At number 2, I got Bo Nix. Brock Bowers had 1,000 yards as well, with Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, and Desmond Ridder at quarterback. Those aren't good quarterbacks. Aiden O'Connell's obviously the best out of them. I personally believe in Aiden O'Connell. I think he should have started from the start, and I think everyone agrees with that. If you actually look at how Gardner Minshew did, he was terrible. And finally, obviously, JD5 is my Offensive Rookie of the Year. It makes sense. He brought their team to a 12-win season, almost won the division, and they won not just 1, but 2 playoff games, one against the 15-2 Detroit Lions. Banged up or not, they were still a 15-2 team win, 15-2 team, and they were supposed to win the Super Bowl, right? Well, they crushed their hopes. Next, for Defensive Rookie of the Year, number 5, I got Braden Fisk. I think he's been good this year, but not good enough to be Defensive Rookie of the Year. Number 4, I got Quinion Mitchell, who's been really good in the playoffs, especially. He has 2 interceptions in 2 games, or in 3 games. He could be an X factor in the playoffs this year, or in the Super Bowl. Number 3, I got Chop Robinson. He started off very rough, but he ended up making a really good impact towards the end of the season, being a good reason that their defense was good last year. Number 2, I got easily one of the best corners in the league in terms of rookies, Cooper DeJean. He's been good. I like him a lot. And then obviously 1, I got Jared Verse. Jared Verse, especially against the Vikings, he had like 3 sacks and one was a fumble that turned to a fumble interception. Sorry, fumble touchdown. I like Jared Verse. Seems like the Eagles and the Rams both did really good at drafting this year. So, props to them. Now for Comeback Player of the Year. For Comeback Player of the Year, I have 5 being Damar Hamlin. I don't even know why he's here. Yes, he had a great year this year, but he does not deserve to be Comeback Player of the Year. Hopefully he'll be better next year and continue and improve. I think if there's something called a Breakout Player of the Year, he could be one of them that makes it. Number 4, Christian Gonzalez. I forgot he was injured, but yeah, he made it the list. He did good this year. Not as good as he did in his rookie year last year, but he's a good corner. I think next year they'll be a good team. Number 3, I got J.K. Dobbins. He's been a great player. And he did get hurt again, but he came back at the end of the year. He's been good whenever he plays. Number 2, I got Sam Darnold. I don't think he should be on this list. Same reason Damar Hamlin. Like, he didn't deserve to be on this list. But Breakout Player of the Year, he would definitely win. And number 1, I got Joe Burrow because he had the most passing yards and the most passing touchdowns in the league. So I think, obviously, and he had a very low interception. I think 3 or 4 he had all season. I think he deserves Comeback Player of the Year. Next up, we got Defensive Rookie of the Year. Next up, we got Defensive Player of the Year, and I think that one's going to be obvious for me. Other people would say otherwise, but number 5, I got Zach Bond. He definitely could win Defensive Breakout Player of the Year. He definitely played really good this year. I'm surprised Nick Bonito didn't make it on the list, but he would be like top 3 if he made it. Myles Garrett had a good year. He was probably the only watchable player on the Browns at all. I mean, besides, some of their defensive players. But yeah, no one on offense was watchable. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, he had some great games. Obviously, I like Jameis Winston. I'm a huge fan of him. Number 3, the sack leader for the Bengals, Trey Hendrickson. He's been great. Every single time I watched him, I was like, wow, he's great. Number 2, I got TJ Watt. He had a bunch of forced fumbles that were pretty good. But he had a down year compared to last year at least. And then number 1, I had Pat Surtain. I think that's obvious. I think he is the best corner. Him and I think he's the best corner in the league. Finally, before we go to MVP, let's do Offensive Player of the Year. I don't think a quarterback will win Offensive Player of the Year, which is why Lamar is at 5. And then number 4, I got Derrick Henry. He's been great, but the rest of the players deserve it more, in my opinion. Number 3, we got Joe Burrow. Again, quarterback I don't think is winning Offensive Player of the Year. This is like a receiver, running back type position, or tight end, depending on how good everyone is. Number 2, we got Jamar Chase, who won the Triple Crown, but I just think Saquon Barkley, I think any other year, Jamar Chase would have won it. Any other year. But Saquon Barkley's just too good. He's just been too good. Jamar Chase didn't make the playoffs. I mean, that's not his fault, obviously. He won the Triple Crown, meaning most receiving, most receptions, and most touchdowns in the entire league. But Saquon, 2,000 yards, had the chance to break the record. He's been great all season, like 100 yards a game for sure. Just great player. And I would love to see him win the Super Bowl. Even though I hate the Eagles, him winning the Super Bowl would be great. He deserves it. That would top this year out for him. It would make him probably one of the best running back years ever if he wins the Super Bowl too. And then finally, MVP. Of course, it's a quarterback quarterback award. So number 5, Saquon Barkley. He will not win MVP in my opinion. Number 4, Jared Goff. It's a quarterback, but he's easily the worst quarterback out of the top 4. Number 3, Joe Burrow. Elite player. I would love to see him. I think any other year between these two, he would definitely make it. But number 2, now a lot of people put Josh Allen, but I think Lamar deserves it. See, last year, he didn't deserve it. Last year, it should have been Dak. Or should have been Tua. One of those two. But No, Lamar deserves it. If he wins MVP last year, he wins MVP this year. That's just how I see it. I love Lamar. I think he's one of my favorite players of all time. I haven't watched football long, so I don't know much. I think my favorite player is obviously Stephon Diggs because he's the first player I actually watched. So, anyway, that's it for those. If you guys want to see my Super Bowl pick, I'm going to say it in a second. But if you guys don't want to, feel free to skip off the video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later when I upload. I don't know when that's going to be, but... And finally, now a lot of people say that the Chiefs game was rigged and stuff like that, but it's just football. Refs are not robots. They're not perfect. They're going to miss plays. They're going to miss... Like, I'm furious at the refs for missing that game-winning safety, the face mask on Sam Darnold. I don't think it was rigged. I think it's just idiocy and not paying attention. The ref should have saw it and called the play. He for some reason didn't see it. It is what it is. The game's over now. Move on, guys. The Chiefs are just the better team in my opinion. You know, they win when it matters. When it comes to game-winning drives, they're great at it. When it comes to game-changing plays that allows them to win, they're great at it. Like blocking field goals against the Broncos or against the what other team? I forget what team they did it against. Or like other things like game-winning drives. You know, Mahomes is great at that. That's why Mahomes is easily he's easily top 3 all-time quarterback. And I think after he three-peats, which is my pick to win the Super Bowl, the Chiefs. Plus, I prefer them to win because screw the Eagles. I'm sorry, I just can't like the Eagles until their fans are changed. Majority of their fans are not kind people. They're just rude. And if we let them win a Super Bowl, their fans are gonna be disrespectful 10 more years because they'll have won a Super Bowl in recent time. And I think the Eagles on paper are a better team. If you look at their roster, you know, top 10 QB, top 10 receiver, top 3 running back, for sure top 3. My pick for best running back in the league, top 10 tight end. Jalen Carter is one of the greatest players on their team right now. You know, they got a great rookie duo in corner. Then they got Slay, who's had a couple down years the last 2 years, but he's been good. You know, they got C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You know, they got, on paper, great players. You know, one of the best O-lines in the league. But Chiefs are just the better team in general. Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. D-Hop has been good. Xavier Worthy's a great rookie. Their O-line is really, really, really good, like one of the best. And luckily, one of them might be going to free agency, and hopefully the Vikings sign him. If he doesn't, and the Chiefs sign him, that's whatever. I prefer him to come on the Vikings. But I just think the Chiefs are going to win. It's going to be a close game for sure. But yeah, I'm tired of people complaining, saying it was rigged and blah, 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 all that. That's fine, whatever. You can't expect them to be robots, okay? They're not. That's why people are trying to say replacing them with robots. That would be weird. That would not be normal. That would not feel good, in my opinion. I wouldn't like that. If you don't want to watch the Super Bowl, that's on you. Go ahead. Don't watch the Super Bowl. But stop complaining about the refs. It's annoying. The refs aren't perfect. I think maybe some plays were definitely dumb. You know, I don't know what that flag was at the end of the game, but then they picked it up. I don't know how to explain that one, but like the catch that Xavier Worthy did, that was a catch. The ball didn't move. That was a catch. It touched the ground, but it didn't move. It was still in his possession. So, good job, Chiefs. The Eagles-Commanders game, I think the Commanders, you know, nothing against them, but they're a great team. They just shot themselves in the foot. I mean, those fumbles, that interception, those were all bad plays. But on paper, they had the worst team, and they lost. I mean, you could say they have the better quarterback, and I agree. I think Jane Daniels is probably better than Jalen Hurts. But anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching this part of the game. Thank you for watching this part of this video. I'm on my road to 200 subscribers. I would appreciate if you help me get there. I'm almost there, actually. I'm at 185 as of right now. Anyway, see you all later. Peace.